After completing something nothing short of a miracle, the 500 to 1 shot golfer who was given no chance did the impossible. But what happened to Ben Curtis? Born in 1977 to Bob and Janice Curtis, Ben Clifford Curtis picked up the game of golf at just age 3. His grandfather converted his old farm into a golf course and opened it as Mill Creek Golf Club in 1973. Ben's parents ran the golf course and Ben would help out where he could, collecting balls from the range and taking green fees through the cash register. With his house just 50 yards away from the practice putting green, it was understandable that Ben was hooked. So hooked in fact that his parents decided to move 2 miles away from the course, hoping he would play less golf and develop more diverse interests. The ploy failed and Ben remained obsessed with golf. After starting high school at Buckeye Valley High School, Curtis was already an elite player and was being very carefully watched by every major college in the US. He chose Kent State University as it was close to his family home. It was clear from a very early age that Ben was a very family-focused man. But his progression didn't slow down, and whilst there he became the 3-time All-American and was the #1 ranked amateur in the world. His amateur career was very impressive, winning the Ohio State Amateur twice and also winning the Players Amateur Open. Even more impressively, Ben did all of this by having only 2 golf lessons in his childhood. His impressive amateur career didn't go unnoticed. Ben received offers from several sports management agencies which didn't usually recruit such young players. He ended up accepting an offer from IMG, who managed to seal a 2-year equipment sponsor with Titleist. With everyone starting to believe in Ben and his confidence growing by the day, at the start of the new millennium, Curtis decided to turn pro. Starting out on the Hooters Tour, Curtis didn't have much success, but he was trying every year to qualify for the PGA Tour via Q School. In 2002, on his 3rd attempt, Ben was successful, finishing tied 26th and earning his card for the 2003 season. His first year on tour didn't get off to the start he was wanting, as he made a fair amount of cuts but had no finishes inside the top 25, until a tie for 13th at the Western Open on July 6th, which qualified him for the Open Championship in England less than 2 weeks later. Ben couldn't believe his luck. In just 2 weeks' time he'd be playing in golf's most prestigious event. He travelled to England paying his own way because unlike other players, he had no sponsor. He took his 2 cousins with him, hired a caddy from the European Tour, and settled into Royal St George's. The first round went as expected. A round of 72 1 over par for a complete newbie. Ben Curtis was nowhere to be seen after day 1. Day 2, however, was a different story. Even with the likes of Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh in the mix, and taking up the majority of the live coverage, the new boy from Kent was still forcing himself into the limelight. After a second round of 72 and a third round of 70, Curtis found himself in a tie for 3rd place going into the final round. There was a different feeling in the air come Sunday. People were starting to think what if, but with big names still in the mix, Ben needed to shoot the round of his life. He opened up with a birdie on the first, which followed by 2 pars, and then hit one of the shots of the competition, reaching the par 5 4th in 2 shots and moving him into red figures at 1 under par. Only 3 players were under par, proving how tough the conditions were. But nothing was fazing Ben as he marched on to 5 under par. But as the end was in sight and the enormity of what he could achieve became clearer, things started to slip for Ben as he dropped 3 shots and slipped right back down to 2 under par. With 2 holes to go and 2 back from Thomas Bjorn, Curtis dropped another shot, pushing him back to 1 under par. It seemed understandably that the pressure was too much for the rookie with a previous best finish of 13th 2 weeks prior. But Ben's luck wasn't over just yet. Thomas Bjorn was struggling himself, finding bunkers at the 15th and 16th. Bjorn was about to throw away a 3-shot lead as he double bogeyed to go back to 1 under par, level with Curtis. Meanwhile on the 18th, Curtis had no idea what Bjorn had just done, so had no fear when it came to his lengthy par putt. Bjorn however missed another par putt to lose 4 shots in 4 holes, needing a birdie coming down the last to force a playoff. A very chilled Ben Curtis waited as Bjorn gave it one last shot. Bjorn made par and Ben Curtis, the only player under par, had shocked the world and done the impossible. This win skyrocketed him from 396th in the world to 35th. But with great reward comes great responsibility. And for someone who was barely ready for the PGA Tour to win a major, a lot of scrutiny came his way and many calling it a fluke. After winning the Open, Curtis garnered more publicity than he had bargained for. As a result, his every move was scrutinised by reporters and others in the golfing world. Curtis withdrew from the following competition after the Open, wanting to spend time with his family who couldn't make it to England. But Ben found himself under attack by reporters and fellow golfers. Peter Jacobson, who won the tournament, told Sports Illustrated, "I was disappointed that Ben withdrew. You don't do that. I know you have to think about yourself and your health, but in the short term, you have to keep your obligation." Curtis later stated that he regretted withdrawing. Feeling like he was set for life, Ben wanted someone to share it with. He married Candice Beattie in August, months after the triumph at the Open. After things had died down a little, Ben could finally start focusing on golf again. In 2006, he won twice, once at Booz Allen Classic and again at the '84 Lumber Classic. He even finished 8th at the 2007 Open at Carnoustie. His good form followed into the next season. Recording 5 top 10 finishes, his major form was as strong as ever, finishing 7th at Royal Birkdale and finishing 2nd at the PGA Championship. This form landed him a spot at the 2008 Ryder Cup team. Ben was on the winning side at Valhalla as the USA thrashed Europe. Ben won his singles match 2-1 against Europe's much respected Lee Westwood. This definitely changed people's opinions on Ben. After winning a major, winning on the PGA Tour, and now the Ryder Cup, along with a bunch of cash in his pocket, Ben was ready to retire on his terms. He was the king of making cuts 9 times out of 10, but never really finishing anywhere. His bad placings would see him finish outside the top 100 money list 3 years in a row. So with things not going swimmingly on the PGA Tour, Ben decided to split his time between the European Tour and the PGA. With the stress of travelling and wanting to start a family, Ben decided to put all he had left into the tours and planned his get out. In April 2012, Curtis won the Valero Texas Open for his 4th PGA Tour victory, ending a 6-year winless drought. That win regained his full exemption on the PGA Tour and leapfrogged him from 256th in the world to 156th. This would be Ben's last ever win. He proceeded to play on the PGA Tour, but his mind was elsewhere. He began to miss cut after cut, so he decided to play a partial schedule on tour, hoping he could manage work and family. But it just didn't work, only managing 3 cuts all year. With $13.8 million of career earnings, Ben had enough money to retire from competitive golf. And in 2018, Ben said, "I've definitely had enough. I'm not playing anymore. Yeah, there are a lot of great things about playing golf for a living, but it's that old story about how people never see the other side. The travel, staying in hotel rooms, missing your family, playing with injuries." The 40-year-old has been struggling for several years with the golfing lifestyle, which has adversely affected his ability to make a living in the game. When he and his wife Candice began to have a family, Curtis started seeing golf no longer as an opportunity, but as an obstacle to things that he wanted out of life. He was near tears a few years ago talking about the struggles he faced leaving his 2 children behind, to catch another flight to another tournament that had lost its meaning. Now, Curtis plans to unveil the Ben Curtis Golf Academy at Country Club of Hudson, a private club about 15 miles away from his home. His goal is to merely teach the golf swing, but impart knowledge on the whole game to youngsters interested in high school or college golf, or who have aspirations of a pro career. His new career will give him time with his family and kickstart his love for golf through the power of helping others. At the 2021 Open at Royal St George's, everyone expected to see an appearance from Ben. Instead, he threw a party at his local club. It really is a wonderful story. A man who got what he wanted out of the game and got out before it ruined him. Something many just can't do. It does make you wonder though, if Bjorn won that Open Championship, would Ben have been as successful as he is today? Would he have been able to retire so young? Would it have eventually broken him and his family down? The thing is, we'll never know. All that matters, Ben is happy and what a legacy is left behind.